Good evening, everyone. Hi there. Good evening, all. My name is Matt DeSilva. I am the editor-in-chief at USA Lacrosse, and on behalf of the board of directors and staff of USA Lacrosse, I would like to welcome all of you to the National Lacrosse Hall of Fame induction celebration. I am honored to celebrate with you tonight the induction of 8 great lacrosse players, coaches, officials, and contributors to the National Lacrosse Hall of Fame's class of 2023. We'd also like to thank our partners and Oxia Time for their support of the cocktail reception. To kick off the evening, we will begin with remarks from the CEO of USA Lacrosse, Mark Riccio.
Thanks, Matt. So it's awesome to see all of you. I will tell you that this evening is both a personal and a very professional moment of gratitude. Certainly from a professional standpoint, it's great to see so many awesome lacrosse people in the room, but from a personal standpoint, I had the good fortune of playing for Coach Danowski back in the early days of Hofstra. And I will tell you, when that February wind is whipping across Hempstead Turnpike, and the spirit of Howdy Myers is watching over us, there's no way we would have expected to be here tonight together. But I will tell you, that's the beauty of this game. That's the beauty of the sport and the journey it takes you on. And I will say that I was spending some time thinking about those journeys and thinking about the origins of the National Lacrosse Hall of Fame. 1957, the first class was inducted. 1959, was the physical Hall of Fame that was built on the Hopkins campus, and now certainly that has moved up to our facility up in Sparks. And as I was reading up on the history here, what struck me is the incredible foresight and vision of people that wanted to recognize and honor the game. And here we are, 60 some odd years later and going strong, and in fact 2023 marked the 25th anniversary of USA Lacrosse. USA Lacrosse, the coming together of a lot of different lacrosse organizations to form a single governing body for the sport. And yet again, that was the vision of a lot of people who care deeply about the game. Many of those people are in this room making this a reality. And so the mission of USA Lacrosse during that time has remained the same. 3 objectives, 11 words. Fuel the growth, enrich the experience, field the best national teams. And it is so fitting that all of our honorees tonight embody that so incredibly well. And 2023 also marked some very big news for the sport of lacrosse. The biggest one being LA 28 and lacrosse getting into the Olympics. So how about a round of applause for that? And I will tell you that is also the work of people that had a vision, that had a dream, and made that dream a reality. Our version of that is something that USA Lacrosse launched this year in conjunction with some leading lacrosse organizations, Athletes Unlimited, the PLL, the NLL, the Men's and Women's College Coaching Associations, Josai Sports, World Lacrosse. We have come together under the banner of Elevate 28. And our dream is to double annual lacrosse participation in the United States by the end of the decade. Yeah, let's hear about that. That is our dream. And so I tell our staff all the time, we get to dream big dreams because of the people that came before us. And our responsibility, everybody in this room's responsibility, is to make that dream a reality. And then we hand it off to the next generation. And they get to dream even bigger dreams because of the work that we did. So as we honor tonight's inductees, they represent the past, they represent the present, and they represent our future. And we are excited to work with them. We're excited to work with all of you. We're excited to honor them as we get to dream big dreams about the future of this great game. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you, Mark. We will now have a Native American blessing and honor song performed by Lance Fisher from the Northern Cheyenne Nation and Giovanna Gross from the Oglala Lakota Nation. who sing to keep their indigenous languages alive, to inspire the youth, and to celebrate life.
Hamata kepi chante westea na pichis apixto Giovanna Gross hemachapi ogla Lakota na Peruvian hemacha. So I just introduced myself in Lakota language and I said, hello, my relatives. I shake your hand with a good heart. My name is Giovanna Gross and I am of the Oglala Lakota and Northern Peruvian Nation.
Bibidoth, Lance Fisher, na Hesheve, Maheo Nanako, na Tsisave, Nihoe Mohmotavas, na Nahoe, Hotn Hiltehe, Eshebehiot, na Tsista, Hanahane. Good evening. My name is Lance Fisher. I am from the Northern Cheyenne Tribe in Montana. Just want to introduce myself in my traditional language, Cheyenne, or citizens. Just like to thank you all for allowing us the opportunity to open this with a traditional prayer and song. Neither Giovanna or I are from the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, but we do share the same reverence for spiritual gifts, and we just wanted to acknowledge that lacrosse is a spiritual gift from the Creator. And to honor that, we just want to offer our prayer song. It's a song in Cheyenne. Oral tradition says it's taught from the wolf to the Cheyenne people, and it just says, sacred Cheyenne people, I know this land all the way to where the land meets the waters. And again, thank you for the honor to allow us to open this with the traditional song. Thank the Creator for giving us this gift, this game of lacrosse. Thank you. Yashiman, Haho, thank you.
Thank you to Lance and Giovanna. We're honored to have you with us here tonight. And now please join me in welcoming the 28 current Hall of Fame members who are here tonight. We are truly in the presence of legends. Hall of Fame members, please stand at your seat when your name is called, and please remain standing until all Hall of Fame members have been recognized. From the class of 2006, Fefi Barnhill. From the class of 2016, Kim Basner. From the class of 2019, Ryan Boyle. Class of 2014, Aaron Brown Millen. From the class of 1988, Tom Cafaro. Class of 1999, D. Cross. From the class of 2021, Patty Daly. Class of 2008, Pat Dillon. From the class of 2000, Betsy Doherty. Class of 2012, Brian Doherty. From the class of 2001, Kathleen Geiger. Class of 1998, Mark Greenberg. Class of 1988, Milton Hilliard. Class of 2012, Jesse Hubbard. From the class of 2016, Michelle Lefevre Doyle. From the class of 2020, Erica Leslie. From the class of 1993, Skip Lickfuss. Class of 2009, Jen O'Donnell. From the class of 2017, Laurette Payette. Class of 1997, Jim Potter. From the class of 2021, Tony Resch. Class of 2010, Bonnie Rosen. Class of 2000, Susan Sheets. From the class of 1997, Vinny Sombrato. Class of 2019, Matt Strebel. Class of 2018, Denise Westcott. Class of 2009, Jess Wilk. And finally, from the class of 2002, Julie Williams. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for all of our current National Lacrosse Hall of Famers. It's an honor to be with you all tonight. And now, let us welcome the National Lacrosse Hall of Fame's class of 2023. Please stand at your seat as your name is called. Lynn Burns Bowers. John Danowski. Katie Crest Irby. Kyle Harrison. Laura Hebert. Bob Shaw. Kyle Sweeney. Devin Wills. Ladies and gentlemen, your National Lacrosse Hall of Fame class of 2023. Before we begin, I'd like to remind everyone that leaving the room during the ceremony should be done between and not during the presentations if possible. And on behalf of USA Lacrosse, at this time, I'd like to take the opportunity to recognize our current men's and women's Hall of Fame task force, led by Hall of Famers Vinny Sombrato and Pat Dillon. Their work and that of their respective members for the important and challenging tasks that they take on each year in reviewing and selecting the incoming class does not go unrecognized. Now, please join me also in recognizing these outstanding individuals and the leadership and integrity that they have brought to our sport's greatest honor. It's time now for the official induction ceremony. We'd like to begin with recognition of the Hall of Fame members who have passed away in the last year, followed by a video tribute to this year's honorees. Please see the screen. USA Lacrosse proudly presents the National Lacrosse Hall of Fame induction ceremony, celebrating the addition of 8 outstanding inductees who tonight take their place among the all-time greats. Since 1957, the National Lacrosse Hall of Fame has honored men and women past and present who by their deeds as players, coaches, officials, and contributors, and by example of their lives, personify the great contribution of the game of lacrosse to our way of life. Presenting tonight's class of 2023 National Lacrosse Hall of Fame inductees. A 3-time collegiate All-American, the Tewaaraton Award winner in 2005, and a member of the world champion 2009 U.S. Women's National Team, Katie Crest Irby is being inducted as a truly great player.
I don't think there's one part of my life that lacrosse has not touched in some way. It just seems to be this thread that is woven through my life in every aspect. I feel like that is the special part of the lacrosse community. Just, it's small and people are incredibly generous and they look out for one another and they want to help each other. And so I've been the beneficiary of that from the very beginning.
A 3-time collegiate All-American, 3-time All-Ivy League player, and a member of the gold medal winning 1974 U.S. Men's National Team, Bob Shaw is being inducted as a truly great player.
I think if you play a lot of sports, which I did in Lafayette, I lettered in 5 sports, you'll end up loving lacrosse because it's the best combination of all the aspects of sports, in my opinion. I have great hopes for lacrosse. I think it could help heal the world.
A 3-time collegiate All-American goalie, 3-time world champion on the U.S. Women's National Team, and an All-World honoree in 2013 and 2017, Devin Wills is being inducted as a truly great player.
I don't know many people who can't explain the things that they love, but I certainly do feel lucky that, I've been able to go through my life and, this sport that I picked up because my childhood friend's dad owned Lacrosse has now turned into like my whole life and career. It's just, I feel really lucky, and it's one of those things of like the right place at the right time.
A 3-time collegiate All-American, the Tualatin Award winner in 2005, a 2-time member of the U.S. men's national team, and a 9-time All-Star in professional lacrosse. Kyle Harrison is being inducted as a truly great player.
I played my game the entire time. Like, I was never a volume scorer. I was never a ball dominant guy. Like, I was going to face off, play the wins of face offs, play defense, play offense, and when a big play needed to be made, whatever that big play was, make it. My game in lacrosse mimicked my game in basketball, my game as a midfielder in soccer. Like, it was all the same stuff, it's just different equipment.
A national leader among women's officials, including service in 28 NCAA championship and semifinal games, and leadership positions in the CWLOA and PWLUA, Lynn Burns Bowers is being inducted as a truly great official.
Simply put, it has brought me absolute joy. I mean, I love officiating. I love it. And that I've experienced this as a player, as a coach, as a mother, as a spectator, and then of course as an official. And officiating has been my longest stint of going of all of the 4 categories. But I am absolutely passionate about officiating. I just can't get enough.
A 3-time collegiate All-American, 2-time member of the U.S. men's national team, All-World player in 2010 and 10-time professional All-Star, Kyle Sweeney is being inducted as a truly great player.
When I was playing in the late 90s, early 2000s, it wasn't as common for long poles to carry the ball down, be involved in the offense, obviously score and have assists and things of that nature. Is the lacrosse of the late 90s was if a long stick stepped over the midfield line, with the exception of very few, get the ball and get the heck off the field.
Serving the sport with over 3 decades of national, regional, and local leadership, including 6 years on the USA Lacrosse Board of Directors and longtime service as a women's game umpire, Laura Hebert is being inducted as a truly great contributor.
When you're part of the National Umpiring Committee, or you're part of the Convention Committee, or you're part of the Board of Directors, wherever you go, you have that lunch table group. You have this network of people who are like-minded, that will support you, lift you up, pull you along, challenge you. And that is, in today's world, I think super needed. You need a network of people that are supportive yet challenging.
A 3-time National Coach of the Year and 3-time national champion, the all-time leader in NCAA Division I coaching victories, and 2-time world champion as the head coach of the U.S. men's national team, John Danowski is being inducted as a truly great coach.
I think his greatest achievement, he would hope to say, is the kind of boys that became men underneath his watch. And how he helped people grow, and he challenged them, he held them accountable, and was there to hold their hand when they needed it, but was there to be a father figure when they needed it as well.
Congratulations to tonight's Class of 2023 National Lacrosse Hall of Fame inductees. And now for our first inductee of the evening, Katie Crest Irby is being presented into the National Lacrosse Hall of Fame as a truly great player by her father, Joe Crest. Please see the screens.
Well, we always knew Katie was a good athlete when she was young, and she played different sports. A friend in the neighborhood handed her a lacrosse stick, a wooden lacrosse stick at that, and it was almost as if she grew another appendage. It was the beginning of the love of the game, I call it. She grew up in a home with 4 older brothers, and I think that was part of her ability to compete. So she loved the game. It was just the beginning of a love affair, I call it, because you could see it in her eyes, you could see it in all her ways that she played, and she was aggressive and fearless. And she was one of these players that was sort of a give me the ball type person, no matter who she was competing against. And I recall as a freshman at Duke, they were playing Princeton, and they were deciding who was going to do the draw. And Katie was just a freshman, and they were all trying to decide who was going to do the draw, and Katie said, I'll do the draw. And she ran right out there and smile on her face and ready to go, and competed right away as a freshman at a very high level. One thing about Katie was she, when she walked between the lines, it was game on and all out, put it all on the field. But when she came out after the game, if it was a defeat, she actually made some of her best friends that were competitors. 4 years can go pretty quickly. And so after the Duke experience, life was sort of like just beginning in terms of another part of the Duke, or of the lacrosse experience. And so I think the love of the game carried her beyond her Duke experience. It wasn't the end, it was just the beginning of a whole new chapter. During the course of the practices and getting ready for the World Cup in Prague, the coach said, Katie, I want you to play a different role. You're not going to be playing attack, or we're not looking for you to score goals or anything. We want you to be more of a defender and play midfield and be a part of that end of the game. And Katie just openly accepted that and loved it. And actually, that was one of her things she always worked hard for, was to play defense. And so she accepted it, she loved it. I think what makes her a Hall of Famer is that today she loves spreading the game among all ages. Katie, I'd like to thank you for all the years you've given to your mother and I, all the experiences that we've had with you through lacrosse. Lacrosse has been just a great way for us to appreciate you even more than you are. And we love you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Dad. I didn't get to see that before now, but it's really special. I appreciate it. Good evening. It is just an incredible honor to be here tonight. That's just an incredible understatement. But, I just want to thank US Lacrosse for pulling off such an incredible event. I know it's so much hard work has gone into this, to this night and this weekend, and I appreciate that. And I wanted to congratulate the other inductees tonight. To have my name among yours is just a dream, especially my USA teammate, Devin. A little fun fact about Devin, actually, is that we played on the 09 World Cup. Don't worry, Dev. We played on the 09 World Cup team together, and if you know Devin, you know she's like freakishly athletic and was always like so fit as our goalie. She was probably the fittest person on our team. So we used to call her Dev the Midi, because we knew that if she took her equipment off, she could probably outplay any of the midfielders on the field. And so we, as middies, always kind of giggled nervously when people would refer to her that way, because we knew she would take our spot in a heartbeat. But Dev, thanks for staying in the crease. We needed you there. That's why we have a gold medal. There's so much I could say tonight. I won't, but there's so much I could say. The game of lacrosse has just touched so many parts of my life in so many ways, and it's opened doors for me and given me opportunities and relationships that I never could have imagined. And for that, I am just so eternally grateful. Tonight I'd like to acknowledge that I am here because of so many other people. When I look back at my lacrosse journey, I first recognize that it really was not of my own doing, that the talent I had and the passion I had for the sport, every opportunity that I had, an open door that came my way, I do believe that they were divinely orchestrated by God, and I never could have written this story, but I'm sure glad that I got to live it. I'm here tonight also because of my parents. They saw my love for the game, and they just worked really hard to give me every opportunity I could to play. Thank you, Mom and Dad. I'm here tonight because my brothers, they are, I think, the secret to my success. I always tell people that surviving my childhood was what prepared me most for my lacrosse career, as they trained me in toughness and competitiveness and how to never have mercy on your opponent, as they rarely had mercy on me. But I appreciate it more now than I did then. But you guys, thank you so much for being here. I love you, and you are such a part of my story. I'm here because of the many coaches that I had from high school, even youth coaches, high school coaches, my club coaches, into college, into the national team. I look back and I'm like, wow, I hit the jackpot. I had coaches who helped us love the game and have fun. Coaches who built great teams and taught us how to really compete. I'm here because of Kirsten, who gave me a life-changing opportunity at Duke, pushed me on the field, coached me through life, continues to be one of my friends, and I'm just forever grateful for that opportunity that you presented me here. I'm really and truly here because of my teammates. None of this would ever be possible without them. I was so lucky to play on really great teams with great teammates who are committed and competitive and who pushed me but supported me and loved me, and we would go to battle together, and I just have so many fond and incredible memories with those people, and I feel forever bonded to those people. I do feel like I'm just a representative for all that we accomplished together on the field. One final thought. I just find it really ironic to be up here tonight because this was never the goal for me. When I grew up playing, heading off to Duke even to play college and trying out for the national team, this was never the goal. I just loved to play, and I loved to compete alongside my teammates. I loved the game, and I couldn't get enough of it, and honestly, I still feel the same way. And in my recent years, my greatest pleasure has come from helping other young girls fall in love with the sport as well. Last year, I started a youth program, you saw the picture, in our area, a little selfishly, because I have 3 daughters and a son. He's not here. I didn't want to torture anyone with a 2-year-old boy running around, but I wanted my kids to have an opportunity to play, and I didn't feel like driving to the next town. But I knew that if they have if they get a fraction out of their experience playing lacrosse that I did, they'll be the luckiest people in the world. It's been an incredible journey and a fun one, and I feel blessed beyond measure. I'm so humble. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Hall of Famer Katie Crest Irby. It's time now for our next inductee, Bob Shaw. Bob Shaw being presented into the National Lacrosse Hall of Fame as a truly great player by his son, Jake Shaw. Again to the screens.
Growing up, we went to a lot of lacrosse games. Everything was lacrosse related. And I just remember a lot of people coming up and talking to him and realizing, hey, my dad might be kind of a big deal. My earliest real memory of realizing how good he was actually playing with him when I was in high school. We went up to a University of Santa Cruz scrimmage, and he suited up at, I mean, he had to have been 50-something and had 3 or 4 goals, a couple of assists, and it was incredible. He grew up, you know, basically on the Onondaga Reservation in Lafayette, and his high school team had just a lot of mythic figures. 5 of the guys went on to become D1 captains. I think their average margin of victory was something like 18 goals. Guys like Travis Cook, Alfie Jocks, Ron Doctor, Laverne Doctor, Ron Hill. I mean, just a lot of incredible native players who taught him the game. I think he was one of the first guys in D1 to really utilize the sidearm shot, which is something that he learned on the reservation. I know he had an unbelievable outside shot, and when you watch back on those old games, you can tell. I mean, he stands out. He passes and catches better than anyone. He runs faster. He shoots harder. I know he's the only living person to have played on the first national championship team and the first world championship team. I think he was just really proud to represent the United States and to travel and to bring lacrosse to another country. He's run into young children who attended the games in Australia and who still remember him to this day. I know he takes pride in growing the game. On his trips to Australia, he was one of the first people to take lacrosse to Japan with Brian. It's all about giving back and increasing the profile of lacrosse worldwide for him. I just think lacrosse was a big part of his life and gave him so much. Playing for Cornell opened up a lot of doors for him professionally and personally, and he just wants to see that be available for people everywhere. Up until 1971, every championship team was voted on, and it was always a team from Baltimore. You know, I think it was Navy, maybe Virginia had a couple championships, but it was always Maryland or Hopkins. And the first year that they played for it, you had Cornell winning, and Army probably was the second best team. And I think that's a really important thing for the upstate New York community and for his legacy. All of his friends are ex-lacrosse players. Everywhere we go, there are people who know him, who he played with in this tournament or on that team. And it's really just allowed us to travel the world and to meet different people. It really is a small fraternity with a lot of just high-achieving, great people all over this country and really the world. Dad, congratulations. This means so much to us, your family, and to the upstate New York lacrosse community. It's well deserved.
It's great to be here. Let's see, get my glasses here. I want to thank the selection committee for this great honor. I know it's not easy because there's always another deserving player that didn't get there. I'm also grateful that I wasn't inducted posthumously. I want to enjoy every moment. And special thanks out to Richie Moran and Jay Spiegel, who worked hard digging up 50-year-old statistics and credentials to present to the committee. What a great honor to be inducted with this incredible class of 2023. Of course, when one of my Duke friends heard of the makeup of the class, all he had to say to me was, "Hey, maybe you'll get your picture taken with John Danowski." And my son Jake says, "Hey, Kyle Harrison and Kyle Sweeney were really good midfielders." Well, he's right. I believe lacrosse is a gift from the Creator. I love everything about it, how almost anyone can play it, where speed, strength, endurance, agility, team play, and individual skills all come into play. and where men's and women's lacrosse coexist as equal, exciting, and unique sports. I love the spiritual and healing aspects of lacrosse and its Native American roots. My lacrosse journey spans 60 years, 25 years as a player, maybe a little bit longer, according to Jake. 6 years coaching boys and girls lacrosse, a couple of years with the Brines, and 50 years of going to almost every Final Four and I think 7 World Championships so far. Seen a lot of growth and change. As Jake mentioned, I grew up in Lafayette, New York. It's a small town just south of Syracuse, and Lafayette's the home to the Onondaga Nation, the Thompson brothers, Lars Tiffany, and the smallest high school in Onondaga County. Our team was 50% Native American, 50% non-Native, most of whom never even owned a lacrosse stick before high school. Learning to play from the Haudenosaunee was a life-changing experience for me. Well, we played with wood sticks. This is one of my sticks from 50 years ago, made by Louis Jacques, which is Alfie's dad. The Haudenosaunee believe the power is in the stick. Everyone is unique in shape, size, balance, weight. We spent hours at Louis' factory on the res picking out the perfect stick, and then hours and hours more adjusting the pocket, the shooting strings, and everything else. Most of the team carried their sticks to school on game day. We took it around to classes. Some of the players slept with their sticks, and the old men were buried with them. And I hope it's not cultural appropriation, but I want to be buried with mine. The Haudenosaunee had stick skills that were not prevalent at the time. We spent hours copying the fake pass, behind the back shot, and the fish shot, which was what they called the underhand shot. Game day brought out the whole community together, the native and the non-native. My first game as a freshman, I showed up, and to my surprise, there's probably 10 Native American men out on the field warming up with the team, playing catch, doing the drills. When the game started, they all positioned themselves around the field and sort of became non-official coaches. Lafayette played a beautiful game featuring great passing, stick skills, and shooting. Assists were more valuable than goals. The results were really impressive. 42 straight wins by an average score of 18-3. All 6 of our starting midfielders became D1 captains of their college teams. Our attack included Alfie Jacques, who passed away this year, and the legendary Travis Cook. After high school, Cornell really had the best team in the Ivy League. Butch Hilliard and Ned Harkness convinced me to go there. I arrived on campus in the fall of 1968, the same time as Richie Moran got there. Richie became like a second father to me. I won't go into everything that happened at Cornell, but you can read about it, and it's great to be here, and we showed Baltimore. My family is so important to my lacrosse story. My brother Jimmy and I spent hours shooting at our lacrosse goal made out of chicken roost and chicken wire in the backyard. His 2 sons, Jay, who played at Syracuse, and David are here, and our resident ref and family friend, Bill Hardy. My big brother, Mike, who has never seen me play lacrosse, is here from the Olympic Peninsula, so thanks for coming. I met my wife at the initial press conference of the Boston Bolts of the NLL. When our family went through a little bit of a rough stretch, lacrosse helped heal it. My 2 sons came to me and asked to start a lacrosse team at Santa Cruz High. So it helped bring the family together. Luke went on to a great college career and a national championship at Santa Barbara for college club teams, and Jake's now a D1 ref out of Syracuse. But I really want to acknowledge and thank all my friends and teammates, especially Bob Rule, Glenn Mueller, and Alfie Jacques, who passed away recently. And then thanks also to my teammates, Billy Ellis, Steve Alms, Brooks Bradley, Tommy Cafaro, Steve Wood, Mike Stanton, Mike Peterson for coming tonight. And in conclusion, the favorite words of every speech, I have been all over the world and seen how lacrosse became because of its unique heritage and character, bring communities and people of all nations together. I have personally experienced the medicine game. I think with the great leadership of USA Lacrosse, the growth of the World Championships, and now the Olympics. Maybe lacrosse can help heal the world. Thank you.
With the perfect stick drop. Let's hear it again for Bob Shaw. Our next inductee tonight is Devin Wills, who is being presented into the National Lacrosse Hall of Fame as a truly great player by her friend and assistant coach, Becca Block. Becca could not be with us tonight due to the inclement weather. So also on hand tonight and presenting Devin with her Hall of Fame plaque is her fellow Hall of Fame goalie, Jess Wilk. But for now, let's hear from Becca.
So you wouldn't go to a game without noticing Devin. I think her athleticism, her speed, the way she plays outside of the cage, let alone the goals that she would stop inside the net. She's really, really fun to watch, and I think she's the best goalie to ever play the position. And I think sometimes we would be like, we have an 8th defender out there. That's how athletic she would be, just running around with a helmet on. I think if you look at her in goal, you would be like, she's the most athletic person on the field, which takes a lot from a goalie. But I think, like I said, she never holds herself to a different standard, so she's just as fit as midfielders. She's always running. I know some memories I have of her are when she's out recruiting or out on an away trip, she would say she would be running 300s in the hallways or running in the stairwells just to get her workouts in. She was the captain of our 2017 World Cup team, and she just did an amazing job. I think the chemistry piece on that team was huge. And I think it came from the top down, and it started with her and Sarah Bullard, just as those captains, making everyone feel included and everyone kind of have their role. And she would, as that leader, she would never ask us to do something that she wouldn't do herself. She was the best of the best, and we're like playing at an Ivy League school and competing in Final Fours and national championships, I think speaks to the player that she was and how she can really build a team culture around her. I know she accomplished every award, and she is the most humble player, and she'll say, oh, it was the defense that was playing in front of me. Like, oh, even now when she's being inducted into the Hall of Fame, she goes, oh, it wasn't me as a player. I had the best defense in front of me. I think she just always deflects that celebration and the awards and the attention off of her onto somebody else. I think the best quality about Devin is how hard she works. I think she has the greatest work ethic of anyone that I've ever been around. And just as a leader, as a player, she would never ask something of her teammates or of her players now as a coach to do something that she wouldn't do or that she didn't do in the past, which I think defines a really, really great leader. And it motivates you and inspires you in a way to be your best. She can demand things of players and even us as assistant coaches around her to be our best and to just, she's very welcoming to new ideas. She wants everyone to be who they are as people and be the best at who we are as well. Devin, you are the most deserving person for this award. I am so grateful and honored that I got to share the field with you. Thank you for being the greatest teammate and mentor to me. I am so privileged to get to coach alongside you every day. Congratulations.
Ooh, Becca, she knows how to nail it there.
No, I mean, in all those highlights, you never just saw me. It was always the defenders making me look good. Really, they truly did the hard work. I mean, you don't really see any pictures or video of shots actually being taken on me, just me yelling at people. So I promise I don't yell that often. But really, it was the defenders that made my life easy. And Becca's going to be on this stage before you guys know it. Just mark my words. Thank you to USA Lacrosse for this recognition. I'm humbled to stand here. I went back through some game film to make sure y'all hadn't made a mistake. Because I wasn't really sure I would even recruit myself, based off of how unconventional my style was as I was coming up. And as I got older, being a little bit wild was changed to, well, she's just an active goalie over the years. But as I reflected, I realized being a little bit wild was actually a good thing, well, most of the time. A story most of you guys don't know is in college, my head coach, Amy Patton, told me I had to wear sweatpants because too much of the cage was showing. And I was adamantly against this because I didn't want anybody to question how tough I was. I didn't want people to think I was hiding extra pads under my sweats. So I wore those sweatpants, but I cut them into sweat shorts. And if any of you know Amy Patton, this was basically playing with fire. But turns out I was actually a trendsetter because Nike sells those same sweat shorts for $60 a pop these days. So yes, I was a bit wild, but tough goalies was all I knew. Growing up in Colorado, there was one Lax World, and they had a VHS library of these late 90s men's NCAA game films. They also had the 1998 Men's World Championship game, and that's when I first saw Chris Sanderson play. He was the goalie for Team Canada. I realize this is a USA Lacrosse event, so I apologize. There's going to be some Canadian references, but he played the position like no other goalie. He was tough. He made interceptions. He hit people. He made big saves. He had style, and something inside me told me, hey, I can do that. So as a female lacrosse player, and really any lacrosse player growing up in Colorado, there was very little exposure to high-level lacrosse. And it was a risky move for a female goalie to try to draw inspiration for the men, but I embraced it, and I never looked back. To succeed, you have to have role models. I found mine in Danielle Gallagher, a professional ski bum and USA attacker, as well as Susan Stewart, a goalie from Team Canada, and the head coach at Colorado College. They inspired me to be my best. I became their little project. They took my wild approach and coached me to combine a technical foundation with risk-taking. They aren't here tonight, but I know I wouldn't be here either without them. Then in 2003, I met Jess Wilk, who was the elite team goalie at the time. And that spring, I made the developmental team. And Jess shipped me a box of her own personal USA gear. It was probably issued to her to wear at practice with the elite team. But I put it all on in my dorm room at Dartmouth and looked in the mirror. And I felt validated, and I felt like my dream was finally coming true. My teammates, though, like to remind me I was just on JV US, just to bring me down a little bit. But for years after, Jess pushed me mentally and physically every camp thereafter, whether as a competitor, teammate, coach, or friend. She was always right there. It is clear I met the right people at the right time. There's a piece of everyone in how I played. And perhaps now, girls out there won't need to watch just men's VHS tapes. The game has come so far, I would do anything to be 15 years younger and still playing. So from coaches and teammates to friends and family, each played a crucial role in shaping my path. I know I'm missing some people here, but special thanks to Becca, Babs, Danielle, Stewie, Jess Wilk, Ricky Freed, who really let me run wild, but made me run a lot more. Mac Ford, Amy Bacher, Amy Patton, Kelly Lephart, Ashley Heiss, Lizzie Cuneo, and every equipment manager who had to scrub all that eye black out of my uniforms. But a heartfelt thank you to my wife, Meg, who supported my pursuit of my dreams while managing her own professional responsibilities and raising our 2 kids. My 2 sisters, Ashley and Cayman, who have always been my driving force. Ashley for her incredible warmth and humor. Cayman, right there, my most trusted advisor. She is the motor of our family. what she says we all do. And I certainly hope Decker grows up to be like you. Not to mention, you were the wildest of us all and a total badass. But honestly, this all starts with my parents. My mom, she never stays still, like Willie Nelson, still is still moving to her. Maybe some of you guys get that, maybe not. Colorado, it's people. But she's a rock, she's a fighter, she's unbelievable. She's still parenting me today on how, she basically set the standard for work ethic. She still teaches me the difference between wanting things and working for them. And then finally, someone recently told me that nostalgia is the biggest motivation. Well, I know this to be true because I can pinpoint the day I fell in love with being a goalie. Not just lacrosse, but being a goalie. It was because my dad, he's not here tonight, he's fine, he's just out in Colorado. He ignited my love for the position by asking me one simple question. Did you run the ball up the field for me? He was there the first time I left the cage and became an active goalie, and he loved it. And because he loved it, I loved it, and it became our thing, and it stuck. And I realized that it was his voice that I heard when I was wildly running around the field trying to be a midfielder. And he was the voice inside me as I watched those VHS tapes saying, you can do this, you can break the mold. So in closing, I feel like I have so much more left to do in the game of lacrosse. The game has been everything to me, a source of intense joy, pain, drive. It has been a relationship that has evolved over time. It has been a platform to share my passion and maybe perhaps to inspire future players to rise, to meet their role models, but to push beyond them. After all, limits, like fears, are just an illusion. I challenge you all to embrace your own style, to be a little wild, and pursue your passion with unwavering determination. Thank you so much.
Let's have another round of applause for Devin Wills. Our next inductee of the evening is Kyle Harrison, being presented into the National Lacrosse Hall of Fame as a truly great player by his coach and mentor, Seth Tierney.
I didn't know what type of lacrosse player he was going to be. I didn't know we were going to win a national championship together. I didn't know he was going to be a Tewaaraton, a USA guy. I didn't know any of that. I just knew that he moved differently as he has that it factor. He just has it. And so I knew that if he brought everything, all of his ingredients, and he accepted all of our ingredients, that this was going to be a successful relationship. And he had a good freshman year, right? And I might even be giving him a little bit more credit than he deserves. But it was a pretty average freshman year, and we had a conversation at the end of the year that I want him to play left-handed all summer long. But Kyle developed a left hand, and then he was uncoverable in Division I from his sophomore year on. There was not a player in the country that could cover him, and he proved that. His class, that class that graduated in 2005, they were undefeated at Homewood for 4 years. They never lost a game at home. And then their senior year, they were 16-0. So there was no losing. They didn't lose much back in that run was pretty fabulous, to be honest with you. And again, I think you see it all over. Great coaches are the ones that coach great players. At big moments, he had some big goals. I will tell you, the games that were lopsided, Kyle would score on the first possession. That message that was sent to the other team was a long, hard message that if he's feeling this way, this early in the game, you got to put your seatbelt on. It's going to be bumpy for that other team. And the best part about him was he just wasn't about himself. He was more about making his teammates better, making them more comfortable and making them more confident. But there was always great balance in Kyle's life in everything. The highs are never too high, the lows are never too low, but he handled everything like a professional. And he didn't put the weight of the black community on his back, but he knew that he represented them and he wasn't going to let them down. He just wasn't. And he wanted to see more black kids, more minorities in the stands, and he knew that he was going to be that person, whether he wanted to be or not, and he wanted to be. I mean, at one point in time, he picked up and he went out west, and he was doing a club thing, he was doing LXM, and he was still literally taking his job of carrying this game of lacrosse, and know that one day he was going to leave it better than he had found it. And he earned and deserves this recognition probably more than a lot of people that I know, and I'm just awfully proud of him, and so glad that he had a sidecar attached to his motorcycle that I can jump in and take this ride with him. Kyle, I didn't know where this was going to go. This is the moment for me to tell you how much I love you, how much you mean to me, and how proud I am to introduce you to the Hall of Fame. It is so well deserved. We can talk without speaking, but please know how much I love you, and congratulations.
Hey, Brooke. Good evening. Before I jump in, that was my first time seeing that as well. You know, for me and my family, Coach T has been our pillar since the Hopkins days. I got there, obviously I'll get into it in my speech here with the big guy and his similarities to how my sister treated me early in our relationship. But Coach T really became my rock from the beginning. And for me, you know, Coach, I need you to know that you are one of our game's greatest coaches, but your players, generation after generation, continue to follow you because of the man you are, the husband you are, the father you are. You are the epitome of what we all want to be, and we will continue to follow you. So thank you for that. Absolutely incredible. I want to thank USA Lacrosse, the committee, everybody else involved in putting on tonight's event. This is, I can't believe I'm standing at this podium at this event. Tonight still hasn't really settled in yet, so thank you so much for putting this on. I want to congratulate all the other inductees, some new faces, some old faces. Great to reconnect with an old Team USA teammate in Kyle, and I got to stand on the stage in 2005 with Katie when we won the Tewarton. She was the best player on that stage, male or female. So congratulations to all the other inductees. Truly honored to be in a group with you all. I want to thank Miss Tina Sloan Green, Miss Sherry Greer Brown, and the late great Jim Brown. Currently, those are the 3 African Americans that sit in the Hall of Fame, in the National Hall of Fame. They are icons, superstars, they're the standard. And the fact that I now have the opportunity to stand next to them is something that I certainly can't comprehend at this time, but something I'm certainly extremely proud of, and thank you for paving the way. You know, I know when we were talking about this, we were getting emails, and they were saying, just tell stories about your career. And for me, the second I got this phone call, I just had such profound gratitude for everyone that I've come in contact with, all of my people. And more so than stand up here and tell stories about my career and myself, I'd like to tell you guys about the people that put me in this position. And that starts with the 3 people in my house growing up. So I want to thank my parents for everything, literally. We don't have enough time to get into it. But starting with my dad, who picked up a stick in 1965 at Forest Park, Obviously, it was a different time in our country at that point. I've heard all the stories about things said from other teams, things hung in the stands, things said to discourage them from continuing to play, and having the fortitude, the strength to endure that and continue with this beautiful game so our family could continue down this path. I thank you every day for that, and my lacrosse story can never be told without telling your lacrosse story, and I wouldn't want it any other way. I want to thank, appreciate it. I want to thank my mom for showing me and my sister Kia what it means to show up all the time for your children, no matter what, whether that's in some corner of Pennsylvania at some awful soccer tournament or taking Kia to a dance recital, whatever it was. My mother showed up all the time, and even as a 40-year-old man at this point, she continues to show up. So, Mom, thank you for always showing up, and thank you for teaching me about leadership. My sister, I mentioned it briefly, my sister and I are 6 years apart, and so if you go back, there was like some very difficult, her in middle school, early high school, me in like 4th, 5th grade times, where I got the same treatment that Katie alluded to earlier from her brothers. And unbeknownst to me, like I said, she was preparing me to play for Coach Petro for a few years there. But you know what I love about my sister is the older we've gotten, the closer we've gotten, and I've learned what true toughness and overcoming adversity looks like from watching you. So thank you for everything that you have done for me. My wife, so we transitioned to my pro career now. My wife, I remember when we first met. So my wife's from Oklahoma City, so she didn't know much about lacrosse. And so we meet at a ski resort in Utah. And, she says, "What do you do?" I said, "I play lacrosse." And she goes, "Oh, really cool." Like, that's what she said. But her eyes said, "Oh, no, he's unemployed." Like, I knew, I could feel it. I could feel it. And the way she looked at me, the way she reacted, she tried to hide it, but I could feel it. And then you fast forward 15 years of my professional career, and you became the backbone of my life, more specifically the backbone of my career. We traveled the world together, and then obviously later in my career, Brooke, Smith, all the things that you balanced at home and sacrificed so I could go out and play this game. I would not be walking into this Hall of Fame without you by my side. So thank you very much for everything you've done for me. I want to thank all of my teammates. I had a lot. There are so many to name, and we certainly don't have time for that. But I had the most incredibly inclusive, hardworking, all the things you need out of your teammates to pull all the potential out of yourself. I had that everywhere I went. And I was the only brown pair of legs on a field more times than I can count, but I never felt like it. And it had a large part to do with my teammates and the culture we created. As I said, I don't have enough time to call out everybody, but Benson Irwin has been my best friend since 2nd grade. We went to Friends School. Yeah, that's right. We went to Friends School together from 2nd grade straight through graduating, and then we went to Hopkins together. And if you can picture like the bigger, faster, meaner version of me, that's what he was. But he played defense. And so having that person in my life from 2nd grade straight through college to butt heads with, I would not have become the player I was without Benson Irwin. And I'd like to call out Jesse Hebert as well. Jesse Hebert for me is a guy, obviously Hall of Famer here tonight, but he's a guy, when I became a pro and I walked into the New Jersey Pride locker room, I saw a guy that was a pro, he was married, he had kids, he had figured out his life off the field, and he was everything that I wanted to be. And so Jesse, thank you for leading the way for professional lacrosse players of what the standard is. I'd like to thank all of my, oh yeah, give it up for Jesse. Are you kidding me? We're getting there, I know. I want to thank all my coaches. I had incredible coaches. Can't make that stuff up. Absolutely incredible coaches, from Lutherville to Friends to Hopkins to professional. And what I would say about my Hopkins coaching staff that was so special to me and my family, what set me on this path, if you rewind back to 2001 when I was coming out, people that move like me, look like me, typically ended up on the defensive side of the ball. That's just the way it went. In my freshman year, I walked in. It was fall ball. I walked into Coach Petro's office. Coach T, Coach Dwan were sitting there, and that was going to be the conversation of which position I was playing. And Coach Petro said, "You play offense here." You're going to get your skinny ass back on defense, but you play offense here. And that set me on this trajectory. Their belief in me from the beginning, and as again, I looked around, people that looked like me, moved like me, ended up on the other side of the ball. I've had coaches from the beginning that have believed wholeheartedly in me, and they have everything that they did for me and my family. We're so thankful for that. Lastly, there's so many people. They're equipment managers, surgeons, stick stringers, field staff, Big D at Hopkins. There are sponsors, partners. There are so many people that have had a hand in getting me to this spot. And again, as I said, I thought about the stories I wanted to tell. All I could think about is all the people that have gotten me here. So from the bottom of my heart to everyone that's in this room, people that aren't in this room, thank you so very much for the support over the last 30 years of me playing the sport. It means more to me and my family than you will ever know. Thank you all so much and have a great night.
Let's hear it again now for Hall of Famer Kyle Harrison. Next up tonight is Lynn Burns Bowers, who is being presented in the National Lacrosse Hall of Fame as a truly great official by her good friend and fellow official, Hall of Fame member Erica Leslie.
Hall of Fame women's lacrosse official for her on-field performance in high-level games, but also what she contributes off. She is a developer of mechanics and protocols. She is, as I said, someone that is called too often to revisit a rule or give insight as to why this rule was applied. She also is someone that runs and develops many of our clinics that we have. So she is consistently and constantly developing higher level officials. Lynn is the organizer. If we're traveling far away, she has somebody that she knows, or we have a plan to get to where we need to go. And she started that weeks before time and then checks in right before we're going. And then it works into, if it's a car ride or a plane ride, it's prepping the whole time. Everybody's included. She's there. She's leading the discussions. And then on the field, again, I use that word leader, but she does. She leads us on the field. She also just is there as a presence of just great knowledge of the game and her application of it. She's done so many games and so many high-level games that she just grows and grows every time. And you think, how does somebody like this just keep growing? But she does. And then she doesn't hold all that to herself. She shares it. Lynn's commitment to the game of women's lacrosse is amazing. I really don't think she sleeps. She says she does, but based on all the things I hear that she does, I don't know where she finds the time. She's competitive. She was a collegiate player. She brought it forward and then into the officiating world. It wasn't just lacrosse, there was basketball also. And I slipped this in, she also did field hockey at one point, but and it just is that competitiveness inside of her. She sees the game as a player. She saw it as a parent when her daughter played. She saw it as a coach when she still does do coaching, and she sees it as an official. So she sees all of that all at the same time, when some of us just can see it one way and one way only. But she broadens and brings all of that in, and I think that just really drives her on the field to be the best. She's a multitasker at heart. She's a super intelligent woman. She's just able to just go. She worked hard. She went anywhere for a game. And even when she had to bring her kids to the game, she had young children when she started officiating, and she always had a feel for the game, definitely due to her college playing career and her days, and that she was approachable and is approachable on the field, and that she's a team player with her crew, and that she strives for everybody to feel comfortable. To perform our best on those NCAA games, it takes Lynn. It takes it, and I'm not just saying that because it's here. It takes Lynn there to be the organizer. We've got meetings beforehand. There's agendas made. If they aren't from Lynn, they're coordinated with Lynn and 2 other people. If it's about meeting with the ESPN crew to talk about where the cameras are, when the commercials are gonna have, she'll lean over and be like, hey, did you talk to so-and-so yet? Oh, wait, no, I didn't. You're right, I've gotta go do that. She knows it, she's lived it, she's gone through it, and so she's prepared. Lynn, congratulations on this great honor. The officiating world is a far better place with you in it, and you leading us through so many situations on a yearly, monthly, weekly basis. I'm so happy for you. Be so proud. Take every moment in about this. So many people are here to celebrate you, to congratulate you, and know that you're a true leader on and off the field.
Erica, thank you so much. That was amazing. I love you so much. So thank you for doing that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, fellow lacrosse enthusiasts, what a wonderful evening. Thank you to the Hall of Fame committee and organizers for all of their hard work and commitment to make this weekend happen. I recognize so many members of the Lacrosse Hall of Fame, inductees here tonight. A special congratulations to all the 2023 class. I am privileged to be with you here this evening. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for this incredible honor of being inducted into the Lacrosse Hall of Fame. It is with immense gratitude and humility that I stand before you today representing not only myself, but the countless teammates, coaches, officials, and mentors have played pivotal roles in my lacrosse journey. When I first picked up a lacrosse stick, I could not have fathomed the wonderful experiences, treasured friendships, and lessons this sport would bring into my life. Lacrosse is not merely a game. It is a way of life. It's a community and a source of inspiration that transcends the field. I owe a debt of gratitude to my family, whose unwavering support has been my bedrock throughout this incredible journey. My parents, siblings, children, and extended family. Your encouragement and sacrifices and cheers from the sidelines have fueled my passion and determination. This honor is as much yours as it is mine. To my coaches, I thank you, for you have not only shaped my skills on the field, but also instilled in me the values of teamwork, discipline, and perseverance. To my teammates, the sisters for whom I've shared triumphs and defeats, laughter and tears, lacrosse is the ultimate team sport, and the bonds forged on the field are unbreakable. Thank you for your unending support. The lasting forever friendships are so special. To my fellow officials, the Zebras, our culture is unique and our camaraderie is strong. Thank you for giving me the confidence to move to the next level of officiating. So grateful to all of you for your love and support in pursuit of our shared passion for this healthy addiction of officiating. Games are the real adrenaline rush, the pure essence of doing the activity of officiating. As I reflect on this incredible honor, I am reminded of the responsibility that comes with being a member of the Lacrosse Hall of Fame. It's not only about celebrating past achievements, but it's also about inspiring future generations of officials, players, coaches, and fans. Lacrosse has given me so much in my life. I feel like I could never repay it back. Simply put, the lacrosse experience, my lacrosse experience, has brought me absolute joy. And I am truly humbled as I look out this evening around the room tonight to all the friends going all the way back to grade school who have traveled here this evening to share this honor with me. And so what I'd like to share with you is a little bit about my officiating experience. 'Twas the night before a lacrosse game. How excited am I, planning my travel on dreaded I-95. My visor and jacket hung on the doorknob with care, in hopes that tomorrow's game, the sun would be there. My children were nestled all snug in their beds, while new rules and protocols danced in my head. While packing my bag with my uniform and gear, can't forget the candy snack bag and Diet Coke for good cheer. Well, what to my wondering eyes did appear? The assigners and officials are here. The game times have changed. The coach just called, now dash away, all. Finally, we get there, told to park on the right, but now a full bladder and no bathroom in sight. Off to do our pregame checks, line field, horns, clocks, along with the cages and nets. Back to our locker room to prep with my crew. Advil and Biofreeze to make me feel like new. Proudly step onto the field, dressed in my crisp black and whites. Shoes were all polished with black socks and clean tights. Playing the anthem, standing up tall. So proud to be here, awaiting the first draw. Arm signals strong, calling the fouls, ignoring complaining, and fans with their scowls. Quick decisions and clear thinking are always a must, running so quickly or be left in the dust. Back in the car to check in with the others, celebrating great calls and owning our mistakes and blunders. Just another day of reffing, we know what we do, watching each play with an unbiased view. Yes, this is our passion, our love, and our light. Happy officiating to all, and to all a good night. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hall of Famer and apparent poet laureate, Lynn Burns Bowers. Our next inductee of the night is Kyle Sweeney, being presented into the National Lacrosse Hall of Fame as a truly great player by his friend and fellow Hall of Famer, Ryan Boyle.
Really, when you look at the long stick midfield position and from a modern standpoint, I think he's the prototype. I think he is the guy that really, everyone else is really kind of, he set the standard. Push transition, play on the wings on face-off. I mean, he would go behind the goal offensively. Like what long stick midfielder do you see like behind the cage? And not only do you see it, but you're like, yeah, I'm gonna throw him the ball. That's actually a good decision. Like, he's not covered. Somebody should probably be there. More than a threat. It wasn't like he was a threat. He was a legitimate another offensive player out there on the field and could do things and score from angles and see scoring opportunities that frankly really no one else had the ability to execute, was really what kind of set him apart and I think really made him frankly kind of one of one. Nothing is more debilitating or embarrassing, dare I say humiliating, when you have a defenseman that outscores their offensive matchup. And you know, that was Kyle, like not like every once in a while, or that was like pretty consistent. Like almost every game you kind of go in knowing like, so he's gonna like take the other team's best midfielder, shut him down, and then actually score more. You kind of start with the IQ and then you match that with the speed and footwork to really keep up with really any opponent, you know, not able to get any sort of leverage or separation from him. And then you combine that with his stick work, which was really kind of otherworldly. His ability to handle in transition, to push transition, attack with either hands. You know, obviously scored a ton, but also combining his stick work with his IQ. He had incredible vision. He's a super competitive guy. You know, always, like I said, never short on confidence, and that really kind of was pervasive on any team that he was on. Was somebody that was, I think, you know, really kind of a bright light, you know, within the league, and somebody that, you know, would certainly get under some guys' skin. You know, he kind of had a knack for that to a degree, but by and large was somebody that I think was really kind of beloved by teammates and opponents who were like, I don't know if I like this guy or hate this guy, maybe a little bit of both. He's also one of the most decorated American box players as well. And I think that often gets kind of overlooked, you know, the fact that he had a long-standing career in the NLL when, you know, there wasn't, you know, a ton of Americans playing, you know, playing for Team USA and being able to don those colors and represent, you know, his country. You know, I know how much that meant to him, and him joining the Hall of Fame is something that is really the culmination of his entire career. And it's something that, you know, anybody that's been around him as a teammate and opponent, you know, knows that he's one of the best ever to do it, and that he is the modern day prototype. You made it. You can breathe a sigh of relief. We've all been waiting for you. It was an absolute honor and thrill of my career to play with you. More importantly, to have you as a lifelong friend. It's my honor to do this presentation and to welcome you to the Hall of Fame. We love you and can't wait to have a great time tonight. I know we will.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to start by thanking Ryan for a moving presentation, you know, and obviously reminding us why he went to Princeton and we did not. So, being inducted by another Hall of Famer is an incredible honor and just like a little bit of a flex. But Ryan and I were teammates for 12 years and often road roommates, and now it's come full circle. He's coaching my son in box lacrosse. So, Owen appreciates the excused absence from earlier today. So, thank you. But I truly appreciate our friendship and everything I've learned from you about this game, so thank you. Thank you to US Lacrosse for putting together an amazing weekend. It's my greatest honor to be here and spend such a nice evening with so many wonderful ladies and gentlemen and my teammates from the barrage. To share an evening with such a star-studded class is, it just makes it that much more special, so congratulations to all the inductees. Like so many other kids in our country and now all around the world, lacrosse has a deep meaning to me. I do my best to convey how important the sport is to me to everyone I interact with around the sport, and I will continue to do so for the rest of my life. Lacrosse has provided me with opportunities professionally, personally, and certainly in education that I would not have had if I weren't involved in this great sport. The sport has provided me with a lifetime of memories, but most importantly, it's afforded me the gift to make all these relationships with these amazing men and women, excuse me, who have become invaluable in my life. These bonds were created due to the sport and galvanized over time. Lacrosse has been the springboard for everything in my life. This sport was not a legacy sport to my family, so it was with great Irish luck, and any Irish people in the room know that there's no such thing. It was with great luck that my father, Jack Sweeney, had a former college football teammate who lived in the same town, in Springfield, Pennsylvania, which is where we grew up. That teammate's son's name's Kevin Keenan, who happens to be here tonight. He's here as a friend and as a former pro teammate, and he's sitting at the table that miraculously has not been asked to leave yet. So Kevin was a freshman goalie on our high school's team, and they so happened to be playing in the state championship. So Dad took his 2 middle school football-obsessed sons who had never seen a lacrosse event in their lives to go take in their first lacrosse match or game or contest. What was it called? We didn't know. Well, long story short, Springfield won the state title, and we drove home, and baseball slowly packed up its things and went to the airport for its flight to exile. So the rest, as they say, is history, and I was obsessed with the sport. I have such an immense level of gratitude for the wonderful sport of lacrosse, and like all great achievements, they're all a function of a team. My playing career has been blessed in so many ways. I've played and been coached by, played for, and with so many truly, truly great men. From collegiate to professional international, I'm grateful to say I've been coached by 4 U.S. Lacrosse Hall of Fame members. Okay? John Tucker, John Desko, and Tony Resch. Tony, who's here tonight, inspired me to be better in every aspect of the sport. On field, locker room leadership, and off the field. I'm still trying to find anyone on the planet that will say something mean or nasty or bad negative about Tony. And if you find that person, please direct them to Brian Spalina. The 4th coach is my legendary college coach, Dave Urich. He's not well enough to be here this evening, but Coach U means the world to me and all of my teammates from college. We're incredibly fortunate to play for such a wonderful person. I wish he was here tonight. If he were here tonight, he would remind me that playing this sport is a privilege, it's not a right. And they would also remind me to enjoy this evening because you go from who's who to who's he to who cares. And it happens real fast. And of course, when the food was served, he would lean over to Hammer and say, "Oh baby, if I had 3 hands, I'd kill myself." So, as for my teammates, who deserve a lot of the credit as well, by my count, I've played either professionally or internationally with 11 U.S. Lacrosse Hall of Fame members. And a 12th one is being inducted tonight, or was inducted tonight, as Kyle Harrison. Harry and I were teammates on the 2006 team, and prior to what I saw, I thought he had spent the last 15 years trying to scrub the internet of any photos of him in that Rydell helmet, but there was still one up there, so I know he's upset with that. I believe countless of my teammates that I've played with will become future Hall of Famers, to name a few: Paul Rabel, Ned Crotty, Rob Pinnell. So I'm very fortunate to have been a part of these great teams. I believe all of my teammates on all teams I've played for are the reason why I was the player that I was. I learned so much about the sport and professionalism and was fortunate to share the field, the locker room, bus rides, dinners with those people. And those men I owe everything about my career. It would be the ultimate compliment if they believed I helped them make it a little bit better, to help make them a little bit better too. I'd like to thank my parents for providing me the perfect example of what hard work looks like. During my adolescence, I thought it was completely normal for both of your parents to be working 2 jobs. This is all I knew my entire life. That's what Jack and Denise Sweeney did to provide my siblings and me more than what we had than other people in our community. It set the foundation for the work ethic that I've used my entire career and will for the rest of my life, and that my wife Angela and I instill in our children today. I specifically want to thank my wife Angela for all of her support. We met in New York City and she had never seen a game, didn't know what the sport was. She supported me during my career and into the late stages of my career, where I would be gone for a weekend and she'd be at home with 3 children under the age of 3. She also supported me through tough, difficult times, like my retirement, where I seriously struggled with the adjustment of not playing a competitive sport for the first time in 30 plus years. During that period, I hid from the sport. I ran. I didn't want anything about it. It was the easiest way for me to hide from the sport. She is the one that encouraged me to get back into the sport, to start coaching my children, and to really find the sport that I loved that I was hiding from for so long. She understands me more than anyone I've ever met, more than anyone I've met in my entire life. She's an amazing mother of our 3 little lacrosse players, Owen, Devin, May, and Callan. I love you, Angela. Thank you. Quick service announcement. If any child walks up to you tonight asking for an autograph, they most likely belong to me. You can return them to the front desk. We'll pick them up on the way out. While this is closure on our playing career, I look forward to so much more with the sport. I truly feel like my time in the sport is just beginning. It brings me so much joy to see my children playing at ages that I had never even discovered the sport yet. Ed, I will wrap up and close with one more Coach Eric line, because he has the best of all lines. He always told us, give back to the sport that's given you so much. And he also would tell us, leave the sport in a better place than you found it. Well, I believe I've done that so far, and I'm eager to keep improving it for the rest of my time. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good evening.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Sweeney and family. Next up tonight is Laura Hebert, being presented into the National Lacrosse Hall of Fame as a truly great contributor by her mentor and her friend, Hall of Famer Lorette Payette.
She is very proud to have been involved in lacrosse and to have been able to provide service. She's all about providing service and being able to use her leadership in the various ways that she has with local boards, clinics, observations, being on the board for a number of years. I used to call her the angry official because she always had this scowl, and I remember vividly one game I was watching, she's like pounding on her chest and she's like, "That's my call, it's not yours." You know, some people would see her and think that, you know, she's not very approachable, but she's a teddy bear on the inside. And I think people eventually get to see that, but it's not something you see immediately. You know, she was very confident, competent, friendly to the players, was able to have conversations with the coaches that weren't adversarial, and very supportive of her team on the field. You know, she was definitely a team player, and that's so important. Very strong sense of fairness, inclusivity. So, you know, always trying to pull in partners and making sure that everybody's on the same page. You know, that's not always easy, and she's very good at recognizing and listening to those around her and knowing how to include or what they need at that moment to really be a strong part of a team. She loves giving presentations and getting people involved in leadership. So, and she's mentored leaders. So yes, her education background definitely has definitely helped. She's got a great sense of humor, a lot of sarcasm. But people in the lacrosse world would know that too from her presentations at conventions. You know, I just had somebody the other day send me a text and say, "What was that saying that Lori Hebert used to have?" And she had things like, you know, put on your big girl pants and get out there and work, or, Can't talk a dog off of a meat wagon. I'm just saying. And one of my favorites is always, as an educator myself, was, on time is late, early is on time. I think giving people opportunities to grow in the game, whether it's a service situation, being involved in leadership, moving up levels of officiating, being able to mentor, provide feedback. I think that's pretty important. And I think once she retires from her all-consuming superintendent role, that she'd probably want to provide more service to lacrosse. I mean, that's just who she is. Laura, congratulations. I am so proud of you. You are so deserving of this honor, this recognition of your service, your contributions, and your leadership. Enjoy this fabulous Hall of Fame evening. Congratulations. Giving you some loving, your friend, Lorette.
Well, just a couple of things. I'm not sick. I took the test. I just don't have a voice, and I apologize. And the second thing is, I'm super approachable. That was all a lie. So, first, congratulations to my fellow inductees. I'm humbled to stand beside you to celebrate your accomplishments as coaches, officials, and contributors, and I'm in awe of your accomplishments. Thank you also to USA Lacrosse and the nominating committee for your consideration. It means much more than I can say. There are many people who, because of their love and patience and understanding, are the reason I was able to devote the time and effort to the lacrosse world. For nearly 30 years, I have come home to my partner in life and partner in crime, Missy Ackerman, to spend hours debriefing calls made on the field and talking about everything and anything related to lacrosse. I'm sure she was bored, but she never let on. I'm also grateful for my family, many of whom are here tonight to share in this celebration. I appreciate my sisters, Lisa and Leslie, and my brother Andy, who took the time to make the trip to join in the party. However, it is my lacrosse family that is really connected to why I may have been chosen to be here tonight. There's a phrase, standing on the shoulders of giants, that I believe best captures how I feel about this nomination. Without the encouragement of the literal giants of the game, I would not have ever officiated lacrosse, much less have become involved. You've heard from Lorette, and many of you have heard this story. When I first met her, I thought she was 5'9", 5'10". That's how impressive her leadership abilities are. You can see that she is much shorter than that. But her gifts of friendship, leadership, and love that is why she towers above the entire women's officiating family. Throughout my lacrosse journey, Lorette and Connie Walton have been my North Stars, keeping me true to the mission, but with the knowledge that the game is really about the people you meet along the way. The Sisters of the Traveling Kilt became our club, and each of you are honorary BAMFs, and if you need a translation, ask Banfield. I can't remember what year, 1997, or what event, but I clearly remember being in a large room after a national tournament and Susan Ford asking all the women's officials to stick around and hear from Steve Stenerson, the CEO of US Lacrosse at the time, about the possibility of merging the women's and the men's game. There was a lot of anxiety about that idea. Would we lose the fluidity and the beauty of the women's game? Would we lose our ability to be autonomous in our decision-making as it related to the rules? Susan gave the floor to Steve, and I sat and listened to a visionary leader explain why the merger would be good for the women's game, but as importantly, why it would be good for the men's game. He took the time to explain to us what our game brought to the table. and how we could help the event organization eventually be included on the world stage, which, as you know, is going to come to fruition. I decided right then and there that I would help wherever and however I could and learn about leadership from one of the best. Of course, the way I could contribute was through officiating, writing, interpreting, applying the rules, training officials. The process wasn't always easy, but there was always a story. And they asked me to come up with stories. I've got plenty of stories. I can remember being at Feffy's William and Mary Clinic, and Susie Gansmiller coming up to me suggesting that I go for my national rating. I was on cloud 9. Someone of her ability, prominence, thought I had what it took to be that level of official. I took the field immediately after that conversation, only to have Pat Dillon lean out of the press box and yell, "Run, Forrest, run." A not so subtle reminder that I still had a very long way to go. When Kim Bosner asked me to apply to the National Umpiring Committee, I realized how much work actually went into writing the rules and the training of umpires. The game was growing so fast we could barely keep up. For instance, Connie, Jody Michna, and I went to Pittsburgh to conduct an officiating clinic. We're getting our stuff out of the car and we notice our attendees walking into the building, and no lie, one of them had a walker. It's an officiating clinic. A second one came up to Connie and said, "I'm legally blind, but I really need some suggestions on how to be a better umpire." What made this story even better was I look over and Jody had on a knit hat that she'd sewn all these eyeballs on to illustrate that you had to have eyes all over the place. I mean, you cannot make it up. Anyway, it was a great clinic. There were plenty of times that Pat and Kim and I were locked together in a room getting ready to present for the convention and sessions related to the rules. A good bottle of wine made a lot of things better. And I know for a fact it was during one of those times that the incorporation of heaven, hell, and purgatory became metaphors for the A, B, and C position on the field for umpires. And if you've ever been to Old Dominion and did a game for Sue Stahl, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The first time I ever carded a college coach, it was on a huge game between two ACC opponents. Coach was screaming what a terrible call it was, terrible card, and I turned around and here came Patty Daly screaming across the field, yelling, "Great card, great card." And at that point, we knew teaching umpires to have each other's back became an integral part of our training, and I have Patty to thank for illustrating that need. And I'm sure we can all remember Jen Dorff walking around the convention wearing some kind of pop-up Lego hat to illustrate the bubble. I don't know. The stories aren't only related to the field. When Ann Carpinetti and I were working together to keep the game safe and the women out of helmets, which FYI they still are, I made everyone on the women's Board of Governors read the book, Our Iceberg is Melting. Ann allowed me to put my own leadership stamp on the effort, and I'm sure she still wonders to this day, what the hell was she trying to do there? Anyway, her willingness to let me lead is the real definition of leadership, and I'm incredibly grateful to have worked with her for all those years. As I accept this induction into the USA Lacrosse Hall of Fame, I'm reminded of the responsibility that comes with such an honor. I'm committed to continuing my contributions to the growth and development of lacrosse in the United States and on the world stage. Together, I hope we can strive to inspire the next generation of players, coaches, officials, and enthusiasts, ensuring that the legacy of this incredible sport lives on. Thank you once again for this incredible honor.
Let's have another round of applause for Laura Hebert. It's time now for our final inductee of the evening, John Danowski. John Danowski is being presented into the National Lacrosse Hall of Fame as a truly great coach by his son and 2018 U.S. Men's National Team co-captain, Matt Danowski.
He loves the relationships. You know, he loves the relationship with the staff. He loves the locker room, the coach's locker room. You know, he has a lot of fun in there and with that. So the relationships with the staff, the relationships with the kids and the team. You know, he loves building teams. You know, the wins and the losses, they come and they go. But, you know, creating a really special experience and a unique experience every year for that team, I think is something that he really looks forward to. And then just in helping people, you know, being there for kids, trying to help them grow and help them become the men that they are capable of being, trying to, you know, maximize the potential of each individual and trying to, you know, the ebbs and flows of the season and handle it and kind of guide the boat through the choppy waters. And, you know, all that stuff is stuff that he really loves and he continues to enjoy. You know, I think that he has a lot of fun coaching. You know, I think he believes in the fundamentals. He believes in the spirit of the game in itself and just understanding sports and athletics and having an IQ. And again, being just a really good teammate. So, you know, he's old school in his view of, you know, it's not about the coach, it's about the player. You know, I think if you ask our guys that, you know, practice is important. Practice is time to get better, to experiment, to kind of find out kind of who you are in the games. The games are for the kids, you know, and he's just there to, you know, keep them going and keep them going in the right direction and to call a timeout when he needs to calm people down or to get guys on the same page. But, you know, he never was a coach who wanted to make it about himself. He looks for the positives, he looks for the good, he looks for the good in people, he looks for the good in the situation. You know, every time something maybe doesn't go as planned or a player might not make a play yet, that's always on us. You know, we haven't coached that yet. Or, you know, what a great hey, you dropped a pass, it's a great opportunity for a ground ball, just go pick it up. You know, so it's just kind of the way he looks at life. When he got the opportunity at Duke, he just did what he always did. You know, it was just in a different place on a different scale. You know, he looked adversity in the eyes when he took the job in 2006 after what was going on at Duke. But he just stayed true to himself. You know, he didn't have to change. I think that was probably the beauty of it and why he was the exact right person for the job, because this is just, you know, who he is. You know, he's a guidance counselor by heart. You know, he's a people person by nature, and he was there to guide that team and through those, you know, that uncharted territory that nobody's ever been through before, and there couldn't have been a more perfect person for the job. And he's always stayed true to himself, and that's, you know, I think that's probably why he's had the success that he's had. And I know he's really proud of the guys who he's coached, who've now become coaches and become, you know, very successful Division I coaches or high school coaches or teachers, people who have gone into the profession of serving others. So I think his probably greatest achievement are those guys who have gone on to serve others and try to, you know, walk in the path of servant leadership. And I think that's probably something he's really proud of. Coach, congratulations on your Hall of Fame induction. I couldn't think of a person more deserving than you to receive this honor. Forever a person and a man who's more about the team than himself, the ultimate servant leader. No one is more deserving, even though you might not want to be here and accept it, than you are. And we're all here to congratulate you and show our love for you and thank you for all that you've done for us, not only as a coach, but as a person, and to me and our family as a father. Thank you, we love you, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. First off, congratulations to the class of 2023. Only 2 times in my professional career have I ever worked off a script. This will be day number 2. I'm not comfortable with the script. I'm a little bit more spontaneous, a little more off the cuff, but tonight didn't really want to mess this up. So, and I promise we'll get you to the bar in 7.5 minutes. All right? I timed it twice, and I can do this in 7.5 minutes. How the heck did I get up here tonight? Over the recent weeks, after much introspection, trying to simplify the complex nature of recognition that we all covet, but only few of us get to attain, life for many of us unfolds an uncharted odyssey, replete with triumphs, dead ends, failures, modest victories, frustrations, joy, and serendipity. And if fortune favors us, love, in its many forms, graces our existence, provided our eyes and our hearts remain open to such bestowed gifts. Some of these gifts lay obvious before me, yet I fail to comprehend the significance or importance at times in my life, while others, more intimidating, instilled trepidation. It scared the heck out of me. The simplest ones we embrace and we cast aside, with some still remaining to be revealed. My brother, 14 years my senior, and my father, both dedicated public school educators, bestowed on me my first gift at an early age, an intangible present that eluded my understanding but resonated deeply within. The profound respect and affection my father's students held for him, and the unwavering commitment my brother exhibited towards his vocation, his teams, his players, were expressions of this gift. Our community, East Meadow, New York, a blue-collar bastion, a middle-class crucible, a hardworking baby boom community. The student athletes gracing the fields of football and basketball and lacrosse emerged as our idols, paragons of coolness, role models, stubby looking in varsity jackets, and accompanied by girlfriends, right? We all aspired to emulate to who they were. Woodland Junior High, the Warriors, the Wonder Years. The gift unfolded a tapestry woven with teams, teammates, coaches, and competition. The gift of enduring friendships. Rich Werner, Bob Hiller, Paul Collins, Bob Rhodes. The inaugural gift of a mentor, Coach Mike Nastry, strict, resilient, equitable, very similar to our parents. We cherished him. East Meadow High School, the Jets. The next bestowal, a baptism by competition. The conjoining of two junior high schools into one, where everyone had to earn their standing every day in a senior class of 1,000 students, which also delivered recurrent gifts. More friends, like John Green and Chuck Appel. Two major monumental gifts of enduring impact. Coach Alan Lowe, insightful, exacting, and unwavering commitment to the fundamentals. And Coach Jack Cayley, impassioned, rigorous, strict, reserving corporal retribution for those who transgressed beyond the fields. We revered them. More gifts of friendship. A summer job introduced me to Washington College's greatest scorer. I learned from Greg Lane, Levittown guys are to be respected, not feared. At Rutgers, a gift unveiled, yet its true significance eluded me until much later. A gift of lifelong companionship. Rich Marabito, Jim Tatum, Art Diamond, Ed Hogovic. The initial gift of early individual success on the field during the initial 2 years, followed by an underwhelming performance in the latter years. I lost myself my junior and senior years, both on the field and in the classroom. Perhaps, to this day, the gift, the one requiring immediate acknowledgement, remains the most valuable gift wrapped in the guise of failure. C.W. Post, an unforeseen gift. Coach Tony Seaman departed to coach at Penn after 1 year. The players of Post endowed us with a gift, the acknowledgement that chemistry, team chemistry, surpasses talent. The assistant coaches gave me a gift of a relentless commitment for modest remuneration, working like it was a full-time job. And the administration also presented us a gift at that time where we had no office. And we learned an office doesn't win games. At Hofstra, a cornucopia. How about that word, cornucopia? You gotta like that, right? I told you I had to write this down today, right? I wanted this to be good. A cornucopia akin to Christmas Day. The primary gift materialized in the form of loyal assistants. Rich Donovan, Wayne Ament, Ernie Olson, who dared to transition from post with me. Subsequent gifts unfolded each day, each week, laden with real challenges, occasionally somber and inconceivable. The enduring gift that Nick Calaluri brought to us every day during his tenure on the Turnpike. The gift of students necessitating discipline, support, and tough love. The consummate gift, an appointment of a full-time coach. After working at Hofstra for 10 years, we were blessed with Chris Colbeck, Billy Wilson, and then Joe Amplo. Duke was an unexpected gift. Never anticipating departure from Long Island, yet Mike Pressler encouraged me and prodded me to apply for the position for which he was forcibly ousted. The gift, mentoring a group of young men undaunted by their place in the world, resilient amidst the vitriol enveloping their lives, facing the world with grace and character. Matt Danowski and Peter Lomedy taught me the meaning of what it is to be a Duke man. The gift time spent with luminaries such as Kevin White, Chris Kennedy, Coach K, Father Mike Martin, Dr. Greg Dale, Admiral Jamie Sands, Colonel John Bishop, whose wisdom and counsel transport you to realms that you deemed not achievable in a lifetime. Another gift, a cadre of students electing to lead lives of extraordinary distinction. An invaluable gift, perpetual in its generosity, employing individuals of superior talent and intellect. Chris Gabrielli, Kevin Cassis, Ron Caputo, Matt Danowski, Ben DeLuca, Joe Sanowski, Ned Crotty, Alex Reddy, John Galloway, Jimmy Mitchell, Alec Jernstead, Phil Emery, a who's who in lacrosse. Team USA bestowed the opportunity to coach not just the best players, but the right guys. They presented us with a gift of humility, selflessness, and prioritizing the team above all. A colossal gift. A staff encompassing the heart of Joe Amplo, the indomitable ethos of Seth Tierney, the sagacity, and only Tony Resch would know what that means, the sagacity of Tony Resch. And Kyle is right. Ain't nobody gonna say a bad word about Tony Resch. And the willingness of Charlie Toomey, the gift of time spent in Israel and San Diego. An extraordinary gift, those behind the scenes, the support staff, sports medicine, strength coaches, communication personnel, equipment, administrative assistants, student managers, fellow coaches who have supported me all along the journey, seeking no fame or fortune. Kirsten Kimmel, Joe Ferraro, Erin Stevenson, Meredith Reeder. In the trajectory of life, choices abound. We accept the gift and we carry it forth, or we consign it to the recesses of the closet. I stand before you tonight possessing a veritable warehouse of gifts, each instrumental in facilitating my ascent in a lot of ways. This recognition is as much for you as it is for me. I happen to be touched by your magnanimity. The paramount gifts, the gifts of family. My daughter Kate, wife, mother, teacher, coach. My son Matt, husband, father, coach. My wife Trish, who has taught me how to love. Love, the preeminent gift. I love you all. Good night.
Hey, let's hear it again for Hall of Fame coach John Danowski. And for all of our inductees tonight, the National Lacrosse Hall of Fame class of 2023. So this concludes the formal part of tonight's program, but before we go, I'd be remiss not to acknowledge and recognize the outstanding work of the USA Lacrosse event staff. They're in the back of the room there. Christy Nutt, Chelsea Bailey, and especially Shannon Minter. We would also like to ask all of this year's inductees, as well as all current Hall of Famers who are joining together on the stage for a picture, okay, before we head to the bar and commence with the rest of the evening. But that's all we got. We thank you for coming and enjoy your night. Take care.